sometime when we come out here, we should do what we do just before we turn the mics up and switch to camera 2. And we go like this. Kind of like, here we go. We got a smile. We're going on the air because we are live from Studio B here once again at the Beach Street Yacht Club in San Francisco's beautiful Marina District. Co-host Julia Vedekint is here. Delighted to have you with us yet again, Julia, for our last show for a month.
I know.
I'm your host, Tom Eamon, and we've got people signing in from literally around the world already. Let's carry on here with show number 932, belated Tuesday, and happy belated Tom's favorite word day, Julia. Belated.
Crouton.
You think?
Yeah.
And also, it's the Earl of Ware Day. I'll give you a hint, it's in the UK.
Well, York.
No, but think about it. Bravo Zulu. Is Cayardini the Houdini of our sport? Is he the GOAT, the greatest of all time? DC says he's the best of the best, and I have the video.
Oh, good.
Coaching Corner, Jon Emmett in Great Britain is having some fun with our some Cali FOSI. You know what Cali means? The kids call it California.
Yeah.
And much more from Coach Emmett. Bravo Zulu, Julia, to your uni, to the Stanford women's sailing team. They did it again. They pulled off an incredible four-peat in the Women's Collegiate Championship. We'll tell you about that. Bravo Zulu to Seb Menzies from New Zealand. He becomes the youngest 49er world champion ever.
Wow.
And we'll celebrate that, as well as give you an update on Luna Rossa, who the big news in the Cup is they launched their AC-75 in Cagliari today.
Oh, good.
So we have the toe testing photos, Julia.
Yay.
Thanks to Richard Gladwell and others. FOSI Focus, as we mentioned, the Sangos are, well, we didn't say specifically who the Cali FOSI were, but it's the Sangmeisters who are continuing on their magical mystery tour, as they call it, through the UK or through England anyway, and they had dinner or breakfast with the Pindars. They were at Penny Lane, and they were with Emmett today.
Wouldn't it be fun to be with them? Or
It would be. You should have gone with them on that trip, Julia.
I wasn't invited.
Well, you better talk to Sangmeister about that. Last leggy, we're going to have a brief preview of this coming weekend's first AC-38 preliminary regatta, courtesy of Luna Rossa, and of course much more, because we'll talk about this day in history, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and of course our fantastic FOSI, Ted Ryman from Cape Town in the Republic of South Africa, Clay Embley in his wheelhouse on the Kentucky, I guess one of the Kentucky rivers. Alan Long, I wonder where Alan is. He moves around the world more so than Jon Emmett these days. Hello all, what's going on? It's still May. Yeah, we're doing this, Alan. We thought we were going to be on hiatus through May, but actually we did a couple shows last week. We did today's show, and then we are going for sure on sabbatical after today's show. We'll explain that all. Cheers, everyone, from Ed Worley, Chris Fury in Melbourne in Australia. Cedric Lorch, you'll get along just fine without Julia and myself for a month.
Oh, yes, and we'll be thinking of you.
We will indeed. To be specific, the boatyard, that is where Captain John Schaefer from Annapolis, Greg Phillips also checking in from Australia, specifically the Gold Coast, and Larry Kennedy, where the trains are all messed up. There's big negotiations going on. The Long Island, the land of no railroad.
Oh, that's awful for them.
They'll get that sorted out. Now, I see Alistair's checked in. Hi, TJ and the FOSI off from my bike ride now. We'll catch on replay. He sent an AAAA through, but the movie didn't come through correctly. There was some formatting issue. But thanks for the effort, Alistair. And we tried to even do it just in the last few minutes, but we couldn't manage to make that all happen. Thierry de Jong in SoCal. Julia?
Yes?
So we get on with the show number 932, which, of course, is Sailing Illustrated's regular Tuesday until for the next month, regular show that we call Yacht Racing News, views, and notables. And I want to thank very much indeed
Oh, yes.
our super FOSI, Peter Stevenson, who lives in Sydney and covered that press conference for you where Team Australia was announced last Thursday, their time, Wednesday, our time, at the Royal Prince Edward Yacht Club, and he did a fabulous job. He got the first 3 questions in, Julia.
And they were good ones.
Well, are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. But the chairman of the moderator must have been
You
surprised.
think he was? He called. He didn't hesitate to call on Peter, and Peter said, "I'm from Sailing Illustrated in San Francisco." And they all said, "You are? We thought you lived here in Sydney." he was stringing for us, Julia.
Yes.
So,
Thank goodness.
Peter, thanks very much. That was Thursday, their Thursday, our Wednesday at the Royal Prince Edward Yacht Club, which is the challenging club for this new Australian America's Cup team, Team Australia. Tom Slingsby there on the right was on by TV from somewhere in the world, having competed in Bermuda for the SailGP. Ted Ryman says, yeah, Pedro was awesome. Totally agree, Ted. Thanks for that. So that was quite an interesting interview back and forth with Slingsby, who I ran the interview that Crosby Lorimer did with him. And, Tom's going from strength to strength. You talk about Cayardini, but Slingsby also is having a great run in the various events in which he's been sailing of late, including now getting named to helm or be the director of sailing at least. Whether he helms or not remains to be seen. Director of sailing of Team Australia. And I was criticized by none other than Alistair Murray for not knowing the expression purple patch. You remember when he said that,
yes,
Julia?
I remember.
Well, I said, during the show, I said, what's a purple patch? I had never heard, had you heard that expression?
No, I hadn't.
I had never heard that expression. So our super FOSI from Melbourne, Australia, kindly wrote in and he said, Tom, like you dimwit, if someone, especially a sports team or player or team, goes through a purple patch, they are very successful or lucky for a period of time, or both, as my dad used to say.
Yeah.
He'd rather be lucky than good.
Yes.
In the last 10 minutes, here's an example. Tanmaris struck a purple patch which culminated in their goal. So Alistair's is always correcting my language, and I'm very thin-skinned and insecure.
I know. It's
right?
awful. So is he.
So, it's really tough when Alistair keeps correcting my language. But he said in a note, "G'day, Tom. I used the term purple patch to describe Tom Slingsby's form. I am sure you will agree it is an apt description, and your education your education continues."
And it's not even, you're not even get charged for it.
Well, exactly. I would hope not. The advice is probably, as my dad also used to say, is worth what you pay for.
Right.
Speaking of Slingsby, I never knew he was purple. I thought he was red or orange, the redhead that he is. And we're going to start calling him, thanks to Alistair, Purple Tom. Not Orange Tom, not Redheaded Tom. Purple Tom, not Carrot Top. Purple Tom, can he lift Team Australia's AC chances, which most of you don't give them a lot of chance, don't rate them too highly, given that they are starting so late and they're going to sail a 2021 or 2020 even boat, the old TNZ boat. But we shall see, Julia.
Well, there's such a great combination of folks.
Well, and it's, as I said the other day, it's arguably the best sailing nation in the world.
Yes.
You look at what all they've done in achieving the Olympic front, the America's Cup front, and so on. Thierry de Jong, we're learning new things continually from our FOSI. That is true. This is really not a drinking show. It's not really a sailing show. It's a learning show. And God forbid we do much more grammatical stuff on here, Julia.
Yes.
Ted Ryman says F1 teams go purple when they are the fastest. So you learn something new every day, especially if you watch Sailing Illustrated.
Right.
Julia, belatedly. Belatedly.
I was right.
You were right.
Croutonic.
Last week, May 13th, was National Crouton Day, and that was on Wednesday, I believe. So I didn't cover it during the show because we try to cover something that actually happens on either the Tuesday or Friday when we air. But since that is my favorite word, I thought we ought to go into it a bit here. The history of croutons stretches back centuries. The word crouton is derived from the French word crouton, which means little crust.
Right.
Early versions of croutons were likely stale bread that was cubed and toasted to prevent waste. Well, they still are, as far as I'm concerned. Today, croutons are a celebrated ingredient, not an afterthought. Bakeries and companies specifically produce crouton for soups and salads, of course, ensuring a consistent crunch and delicious flavor.
Right.
Now, Julia, I use the word how. You're the Stanford trained grammarian. How do I use the word crouton? I use it as a mild pejorative.
Yes.
And it's derived from the Canadian word croûte, according to the Urban Dictionary. It was adopted by select few in Lille. And actually my friends in Montreal, Canadian hockey players that I knew during when they were at the University of Michigan, used the word, and I picked it up. Yes, French-Canadian hockey players, so I picked it up from them. It is used in an insult and is generally well accepted. So when I use it, it's a nice, mild, pejorative.
Yes.
You crouton.
Yeah.
You, sir, are a crouton. Stop being a crouton. You are a garlic and herb crouton. But, a crouton has got nothing in it but air, not much taste unless it has some garlic in it, and you can squeeze it and it
Crumbles.
Goes away.
Yeah.
You crouton. Get out of my life, you crouton. Okay, so that's where that came from. Anyone who hasn't heard that spiel before. Julia, what are we really celebrating today? It's actually a week, the 18th through the 24th. What are we celebrating?
Well, it looks like some kind of sandwich.
Yes, what kind? It is a British sandwich. Look at you lean in.
I can't tell what it is.
Give you full screen.
Yeah.
It's British Sandwich Week, about which I've never heard. British Sandwich Week is a lively, they say, celebration of one of Britain's most iconic culinary creations, the sandwich. This week, sandwich lovers from all walks of life, at least in Great Britain, come together to indulge in the art of sandwich making and tasting, Julia.
Yes.
That's what they say. British Sandwich Week started in 1990 thanks to the efforts of the British Sandwich and Food to Go Association.
Oh, yeah, good.
This organization formed to represent businesses involved in the food on the move sector.
It's not a very long ago.
It sounds like fast food to me and not very healthy, generally speaking, right?
I don't know.
You're supposed to eat real food and not cut meat cutlets and all this stuff.
Well, yeah, more radishes, but
well, you don't like radishes. You haven't eaten a vegetable in your entire adult life. It's at any event. It's aimed to highlight the sandwich's importance in British culture and boost the industry. If I'm making friends, you think I'm making fun of our Brit friends, you may be right. The idea was to create an annual celebration that would not only honor this iconic food, but also bring attention to the craftsmanship. Craftsmanship, Julia.
yes.
In making a sandwich.
Well, there can be.
You think?
Sure.
What was the old television, the Dagwood sandwich? Was that it?
Yeah.
Here in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Julia, you'd think poorly of me if
I know.
you
didn't have a film.
Before sandwiches were popularized, sandwiches were simply called meat and bread, but they've arguably become the most popular takeaway food, popularized by John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, who, being a prolific gambler, needed a dish that was simple and easy to eat, allowing him to gamble for hours on end without having to leave the table. Salt beef, between slices of toasted bread, was his sandwich of choice. In case you were wondering, Sandwich is a place in the UK and is actually a small town in Kent. Now you've been given some background, sit back, relax, and enjoy the brilliantly British Sandwich Week.
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Wasn't that perfect?
It is, and I love his voice.
That was one of the best videos we've had in these What Are We Celebrating?
Yes.
Ted Ryman makes a wicked egg and bacon sandwich. Just put some avocado in it and I'd be happy. Ben Nichols is a very clever comment from Ben Nichols. Sailing dictionary, a crouton, adjective. Well, that'd be croutonic or an adverb. More recently used to describe the World Sailing Administrators drafting Olympic event formats. Yes, they are croutonic, Ben Nichols. I don't think any of us would disagree with that. Finally, Julia, since this is our last show for a month, what else are we celebrating today?
Well, I don't know.
See that video that's zooming?
Yes.
We are celebrating our sabbatical. We are taking a break.
Yes.
After 10 years, 100 shows a year, we're almost to 1,000 shows. And that's because we do 2 shows a week, 50 weeks, more or less, over 10 years. And that's why we're getting up there to 1,000. But after 10 years, we're going to take a break. Our last show will be today, number 932. And unlike this hiatus interruptus that we had when we said we were going to take the rest of May off, and then ended up coming back and doing these shows.
We promised we wouldn't do it again.
Well, this time we had a technical change in our sabbatical schedule, so we're able now to exercise that schedule. And hence today is the last show until June 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd of June, so just a little over a month from now is what we expect. The internet, and God willing, we'll be back on the 23rd of June. Cayardini, the Star Worlds, now and then the Bacardi Cup, and now he's won the Etchells Worlds. Bravo, Zulu, to an amazing performance, to an amazing friend. I've done some America's Cup campaigns with him. Julie, you've known him since he was a tyke.
Indeed. I'm proud of him the whole way.
And sorry, Cedric, we're not going to have a debrief after the AC prelim or the New York Sail GP event, but we're going to carry on here. You didn't get the memo, watching a little bit now and then in replay. Okay, Peter Stevenson, we already thanked you at the top of the show. Pedro. Bravo, Zulu, in praise of performance for his performance at the 2026 Etchells World Championship, which was held in San Diego Yacht Club, at San Diego Yacht Club last week, the 10th through the 15th of May, that fabulous club down in Point Loma, where they print good sailors. They somehow, something in the water that makes good sailors. And I have another theory, Julia, that because of that, because of the history and tradition of Malin Burnham and Lowell North and Dennis Conner and all the other
Chuck Coger?
He was from Long Beach. He was up north. But Vince Brune and on and on and on. I think people sail better. They're inspired to sail better when they get there.
It may well be true.
So Cayard, who's now living in La Jolla, his fiancée lives in La Jolla, which is a suburb just north of San Diego, as many of you will know, fancy suburb. He's probably almost calling this his hometown, although I don't think he would ever give away us, and San Francisco is his hometown. But the fabulous job they did, and Paul did steer. There was some question as to how much steering he was doing because James Mayo, the Australian owner of the boat and really the guy that pulls these teams together, he has won again. And I said here with a little help from his friends Cayard and Ben Lamb, but this is a three-peat. He's won now 3 in a row. He must be a master organizer, a hell of a good sailor in his own right. And bravo Zulu to all 3 of them, because history was made off San Diego this afternoon, Sunday, or was it Saturday? I guess it was Saturday, as James Mayo, Paul Cayard, and Ben Lamb aboard Magpie, AUS 1526, won race 9. So they were leading going into the race, Julia. Into the final race. Yeah. And what do you normally go out there and kind of cover your competition and just try to stay with or ahead of them or within, if you're 4 or 5 points ahead of them, to stay within 4 or 5 points. They went out and won the last race. I mean, they just absolutely crushed it.
Oh, neat. I don't know why I wasn't watching.
Well, they didn't have live coverage.
Oh, that's one reason.
That's why. This is Mayo's 3rd straight Etchells World's title, a feat not accomplished in over 40 years.
Fabulous.
Magpie finished the regatta with a total of 56 points, followed in second place by Scott Kaufman, another Australian. And Rogue, his boat Rogue USA 1519, must have been a charter, with 73 points. And John Sommy's Encore, USA 1529, who was himself the 2023 world champion. So the competition, as you'll hear Dennis Conner say in a minute, was the best of the best.
Oh, it should have been.
70 some odd boats and just a fabulous event. But back to Mayo and Cayard. Cayard said after the regatta, he's only been sailing the boat for 20 days. I stepped into a very good team, said Cayard, who has only sailed Etchells for 20 days, reflecting on his time at the helm this regatta. Quote, a lot of great teams are here, so it is an honor to win and have my name on the same trophy as some of my idols like DC and Vince. A sailing legend in his own right, of course, Cayard, the current Rolex Yachtsman of the Year here in the USA, says, for sure, there are more Etchells regattas in his future. The last 5 races, we could not have sailed any better. This is a quote now from the other member of the crew. I'm so proud how the team pulled together, just attacked the race course the whole time, added Lamb. That's this guy, what is it, Ben Lamb, I think is his name, who's won this twice before. Oh, yeah, there it says, who has won 2 previous worlds. This is probably the hardest Etchells worlds I've ever done. Just to be mixing it up with the countless Olympians, America's Cup winners, and world champions feels good. But to win is just incredible. And Julia, here is a very nice 3-minute wrap-up video.
Oh, good.
It is my pleasure to present for the 3rd time in a row the Founders Trophy donated by Mary Etchells to Team Magpie.
It's a dream, and the dream came true. You know, it's incredibly emotional, to be brutally honest, I suppose, just setting in now. But, you know, together, it's just, everything's just about a team. If you create a great team and put people better than yourself around you and then be vulnerable when you need to be vulnerable, and at the end of the day, you just got to trust the people around you.
The competition is elite. It's incredible. It's as hard as, this is probably the hardest worlds I've ever done. Actually, it is for sure. The level of the competition, like there's countless Olympic medalists, you know, America's Cup winners, you know, gazillion world titles in this fleet. So just to be mixing it up, it feels good, but then to win, it's just an incredible feeling.
But an excellent championship, I think. I think a lot of great teams were here. You know, the guys who were leading earlier in the week are all great teams. They've all won world championships. And so it's an honor to win and, you know, also to be on the same trophy as Dennis Conner and Vince Brune and a lot of my idols, you know.
And the top Corinthian, presented by Patricia Steele in recognition of outstanding yacht racing achievement by Corinthian sailors. No strangers to this award, no dramas.
Casey.
Andrew Lawson, Graham Niles, Billy Russell.
Yeah, it feels great. It's been a really hard week. I mean, anyone who's been out there sailing this week would know the wind has been really, really difficult. So trying to sort of pull together a good series of results, get off the start line has been really difficult. Genuinely, I mean, I feel very strongly that there isn't a better fleet out there in terms of the strength of the fleet. You've got, you know, multiple world champions, multiple Olympic medalists, and the good thing about the Etchells class is we can compete against those professionals on a like-for-like basis, and we can give them a real good run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I think this week a fantastic sailing club, a really tricky, hard venue, and some of the world's best sailors. Probably the longest list of best sailors I've seen in a long, long time. So it's great to be out here.
And then to have all the club and the volunteers and the race committee and all these people that come together to put this event on and to make it so special. You know, we were, as sailors, we wouldn't have the opportunity to do that without all those people. And so, you know, thanks to all of them.
On behalf of San Diego Yacht Club, we've had a great time having you here. And with that, I declare the 2026 Etchells Worlds closed.
What do you think of that?
Oh, it's terrific.
It kind of gives you chills
It does.
almost.
It
Because
does.
it's such a great class, great event, people from all around the world, particularly the Anglo countries. And the Etchells class, which we said really ought to be in the Olympics.
I was just going to say
a
that.
few shows back.
We've been talking about that. And it's not because it's an old boat?
Well, it is an old boat, but they put the Soling in instead of the Etchells. Those two classes were competing for the Olympics back, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But they should put it back in the Olympics as a match racing boat. And there should be a women's division and a men's division, discipline, and get on with it, because match racing is understandable. Match racing is what the America's Cup does, so people equate or relate our sport and the Olympics to match racing because of the Cup, the America's Cup. And we just ought to get on with that. But as a couple of you said, the world sailing, Ben Nichols, more recently used to describe the world sailing administrators drafting Olympic event formats. That's Croutonic. He was Croutonicism. Fritz Mueller saying, yes, in fact, the Solings were racing their worlds at the same time in Hungary on Lake Balaton. What a fabulous place that is. And Hungary's been a powerhouse of Soling sailing since forever. Lake Balaton, have you been there? Lake Balaton, it's marvelous. Up in the north of Budapest. It's really a couple hour drive, I guess. Really nice place to go and sail. So bravo, Zulu. There's the Commodore on the right, who was one of the speaking of whom, Allie Bell, who was one of the finalists for our U.S. Rolex Women Sailor of the Year. Her team won Transpac last year in her Cal 40. And she said after this event, San Diego Yacht Club is so proud to have hosted a great Etchells World Championship. Over the last 5 days, we had 9 races with 278 competitors, 76 teams from 11 countries. That's what Commodore Allie Bell said. As Commodore, I'd like to thank the almost 200 volunteers, our staff, and all of the competitors for making this regatta truly amazing. I look forward to seeing everybody next year in Hong Kong. And speaking of strength, Julia, they have already set next year's Worlds in Hong Kong. No surprise. But then the year after that, they've got their Worlds organized because everybody wants to host this fabulous class and fabulous event. So bravo, Zulu, to everybody involved, Commodore Bell and to Paul and Mr. Mayo, whom I've not had the pleasure of meeting. Ben, it's the people all over the world are proud of you. This was the nice, what would you call this? Not a meme, really, graphic that was put out by Etchells Australia, back to back to back. Etchells world champion James Mayo, and of course I had to check in with Cayard, which I'll show you the back and forth we had a few minutes ago. I thought about bringing him, dragging him onto the show, and I didn't ask, but he would have. If he's not flying, he would have come on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Coach John Rogers volunteered to come on. He's the guy, the San Diego Yacht Club head coach, who was sailing with the young crew, with David, with Lysinger and the other juniors who were, Jim Nicholas' son, who were sailing with Coach John. And I just thought, since this was our last show, we ought to just relax and let some other people do the talking today, including in the chat, but also wait till you see this video from Dennis Conner. It's pretty fantastic. So there's Allie Bell with the runner-up team. This was a nice note from the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, and this I saw on their website. 59-year-old CYCA member Scott Kaufman, sailing Rogue, has finished second overall in the 2026 Etchells World Championship, raced at the San Diego Yacht Club. Kaufman was joined by Giancarlo Ribeiro, Lucas Calabrese, and Hugo Roca, or Hugo, depending upon if you're Anglo or German. But Rogue consistently delivered top 10 finishes, ending the series 17 points behind first place and clear of third by 7 points. There are your final standings. You can see the nice score line that James and Paul put together, and it just was amazing.
Great. Yeah.
They just had a fabulous series, and bravo Zulu to them. And all of these top 10 boats, look at the names here in the top 10, and if you go deeper in the top 20, there were some pretty amazing people who were down in the teens, Julia, and below. Cayardini, well, he was our guest. I think the last time was on the 4th of November. I had people ping me and say, I saw your post about Cayard winning and yada, yada. And I went back and listened to Paul's. This was one of our best shows, people say.
Yeah.
I'm not a good judge, but people say it was one of our best shows ever. And Paul was so articulate as usual.
Yes, I remember that.
So prescient even.
Yes.
So thoughtful about the America's Cup, Sail GP, all
Right.
the stuff we talked about, the Olympics.
Yes.
And America won racing, which of course, Cayard not only is a great sailor and a past chairman of the board over at San Diego, St. Francis Yacht Club, and current president of the Star Class, but see on his hat, the A1R, America One Racing. And our team, the 2000 team for the America's Cup, was called America One. And when Larry Ellison bought the equipment from that team to run his 2003 campaign and hired some people from that team, including myself, he then paid millions of dollars into America One Racing, the 501c3, the charitable organization, which to this day is being fruitfully administered, used. The money's grown,
Right.
and their funding they're I think the largest funder of our Olympic effort.
I
in
don't
this
know
country.
that, but I think I've heard of that from a number of sources.
So Bravo
And
Zulu.
consistent.
Say again.
And consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So Bravo Zulu again to Paul and to America One Racing. And I asked him, were you helming all the time? Because it wasn't clear in the publicity. He says James never helms or rarely helms, but this is a quote. This is a text back from Paul. I drove the whole regatta. His two other wins were with a guy named Graham Taylor, who's a superb Australian sailor. Ben Lamb, who was their third crew, won the 2025 Worlds with Magpie. So this is his second win with James. He has won before. I think he means James, has won before with Bertrand, or maybe he means Ben Lamb. I wasn't sure on that. And I didn't want to go back and pester him. So Julia, I had to go look up to see since he's your favorite sailor.
Yes, he is.
Commodore Harrington likes Tom Slingsby. I think that's her current favorite sailor. But Julia, I had to go look up for you what Cayard means in French, because we've discussed that any number of times on this show. Do you know what it means in French? You want to read this?
Cunning, intelligent, or sharp.
Exactly.
In southern France, the name is linked with the Occitan term for small, swift riverboat.
Occitan term, which is kind of like Catalan. It's an old European language. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty good.
Yes.
Cayard is from the Old French, somebody who is cunning, intelligent, or sharp, and that's every. Cayard is all of those things and more. And then it is linked to the Occitan term for a small, swift riverboat. So historically, this connection indicates the original bearers of the name may have been
Fishermen,
Yeah, go ahead.
merchants, or navigators along French waterways.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Now, what is Occitan? While we're learning things here today.
I don't know.
Well, you think poorly of me if I didn't have the answer.
Yes.
Occitan, sometimes historically called, I don't know how to say that in French.
Languedoc.
Languedoc, what's that mean? The language of
The country, I guess. I don't know.
is a distinct Romance language spoken across southern France, Monaco, parts of northern Italy, and the Aran Valley in Spain. Most closely related to Catalan, it is a highly endangered language, estimated to have between 100,000 to maybe 3 million speakers left, depending upon fluency levels. Now, Julia,
I think of his father, who is really wonderful.
who's still around, right? I don't think he's passed away. He's getting up there.
Yeah,
I think Cayard had him at the club for dinner not too long ago when we were there,
yeah.
or I was there anyway. And I think his name's Pierre. He's French, and Paul's middle name is Pierre, Paul Pierre Cayard, of course. And he speaks fluent French, of course,
Yes,
and fluent Italian because of the years he was with Gardini.
yes.
So he's a clever boy, indeed. I tell the story of going through the Nice airport.
Yes.
The Nice, he and I were flying to Monaco to do something cup related. I can't remember. So we fly to Nice. We take, I think, the helicopter over helicopter over to Monaco. And in the Nice airport, they start to recognize he's got the big mustache. But from all of his sailing, and of course, sailing's a bigger sport in France and Italy than it is here. Even though he's a member of the Bay Area Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame here in the Bay Area in San Francisco, that in 385 doesn't get you a Starbucks and doesn't get you even the big pictures of him in the airport in Terminal 1 and on and on. But going through the Nice airport was a fabulous experience because he was stopped. The whatever the equivalent of the baggage checkers and the security gang. Oh, Mr. Cayard, it was just fabulous.
Ooh, neat, yes.
And it was fun. Then we get to Monaco, and then at Monaco, don't even hang out with him because he's just overwhelmed by all these. And I'm not exaggerating. It was a fabulous experience. No one lesser than Dennis Conner. You'll hear at the end of this video, his podcast this week, which I don't think I've ever run a DC podcast. I'm not sure. And there's a lot of jump cutting in it, but that's okay. He's doing it, and Bravo Zulu to him. And he calls Cayard the best of the best.
Today, folks, we see the conclusion of the Etchells 22 World Championship here in San Diego. The San Diego Yacht Club and the staff, including Vince Brune, the race committee, the ceremonies, could not have been better. It's just been the best. And today, we can see that James Mayo and Paul Cayard have completed against the best sailors in the world and won the Etchells 22. Congratulations to James Mayo. He'll be appointed Australia's best sailor of the year, and well done. Of course, in my mind, it was really Paul Cayard against James Cunningham and his team with Steve Hunt to see who was going to win this world championship. And it turned out that Paul Cayard just outsailed the rest of the team, all of them, the best 75 sailors in the world. One of the other really outstanding people that were here was J.C. Strong, who just started sailing the Etchells 10 or 15 years ago, went on to be the women's Australian champion, and I can't believe it, but she actually finished in the top 10 of the 75 boats involved. So she is really to be congratulated with her very strong performance. I can't believe that Sevi Jarvin was there to slow her down, but he did a good job as well. So congratulations to Steve and Steffi for their outstanding showing. So as we conclude this event, we're going to move on to next week, and we'll see the beginning of the CRA beer can series that will be resuming. I'm hoping to have Paul Cayard here next week for an interview to tell us how he did it. So congratulations to all involved, and to you, Paul Cayard, for being the best of the best.
How's that for an endorsement?
Nice. Super.
The GOAT, the greatest of all time? Maybe not quite that. Dennis is pretty good. Buddy Malgus, Paul Elstrom, and a few others. Baton Rouge saying DC's videos have improved. What a great spokesperson for SDYC social media. Well, it's really his own channel, his own thing. And he's been doing different versions of the podcast now for, 5-6 years. And I just happened to come across that this morning, and I thought it was fabulous.
Yes.
Hence the inclusion of that. That wraps up this segment. Bravo Zulu again to Cayard and San Diego Yacht Club and everybody else, Mr. Mayo, James Mayo, and everybody else involved. Fabulous event by all accounts. And now, am I clipping? It sounds in my headset like we're clipping when I go, now!
No.
Okay, good. There is the Coaching Corner. Super FOSI Jon Emmett from Great Britain. And we showed you this slide the other day on Friday's show when he won the 2025 Dutch Masters Championship in the ILCA 6. And in the past couple weeks, he has sailed in the Belgian Masters Championship, part of the year ILCA series. And guess how he did, Julia?
He won.
He did win.
Yes, it was incredible. It's great.
That was the 9th through the 11th. The winner of the ILCA Masters in Belgium, down in the south of the Netherlands, of course. And there was quite a fleet and a good group from all over Europe.
Yeah.
And Emmett is the, he is, if not the GOAT, he's certainly one of the best Masters champions in the ILCA class ever. We're lucky to have him on the show regularly as our Coaching Corner contributor. How's that? Coaching CCC.
Yeah.
He then sailed, as we told you on Friday, in at Brassemeer in the Netherlands series, in NED, that's the Olympic code for the Netherlands. And this also worked out pretty well because he won that as well.
Yeah.
That was on the 14th through the 17th of May. Here's a picture of John with his winning form. And, you know, even at, what is he, 40-something?
Yeah.
Ryman says John always wins.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, superb sailor, and they had a big fleet of boats, and there he was. Look at his score line. 1, 1, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. He threw out a third. I threw out a fourth. I guess they had 2 throwouts. Pretty strong performance by
Yes.
Jon Emmett. And here, Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, is his report.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. Welcome to Jon Emmett's Coaching Corner. I wanted to try and film this one quite quickly in Holland because I swear it rains every 5 minutes. We've just had prize giving and I'm really pleased to come away with a good result. I know it was, really hard work, but actually, for me, that makes it even more rewarding. And it doesn't matter how much racing you've done. Keeping racing sharp means regular racing practice. So as we get towards the sharp end of the season with Worlds and European Championships, it's definitely worth getting some racing under your belt. As I say, we've just had a really nice prize giving, nice to share a beer with competitors and a bit of apple cake before we disappear off. But one thing was very noticeable to me. We talk about inclusion in sailing, but the women in sailing at the Masters level were really underrepresented. Now, if we look at junior level, a lot of M&As, a lot of classes, so I'm thinking about OPI, ILCA 4, it's a 50-50 split roughly, male, female, or maybe there's even more girls than boys. But by the time we get to Masters, and the definition of that in the ILCA class is over 30, females seem few and far between. And when we're thinking about role models, actually looking at what mum does is really important. So I think we need to think not only about youth and parasailing, but what we can do to encourage more women into the wonderful sport of sailing. Because as I said, just done the Masters prize giving, and at the moment, they're really underrepresented. So there, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun.
Do you think he stayed very long in the Netherlands?
Probably not.
No, he was back home, quico pronto. And I'll show you more here in a second, in a few minutes, actually. Jon Emmett, get to the front of the fleet. Jon Emmett Sailing, we appreciate very much his regular reportage. And Brisbane 2032 is always the topic at the end of his report because he and the Australians and all the rest are pushing hard to get sailing back in the Paralympics, either as a demonstration event, Julia, or as a proper regular event. You keep reminding us of that every time we bring this up.
Right.
So those of you who have influence, and even if you don't, this 2026 World Sailing Inclusion Championships is coming up here in Portimao in Portugal. It's the Inclusion Championships. I don't like the name, but whatever World Sailing thinks is best, I guess. The 5th through the 10th of October, and we need MNAs, member national authorities, to actively encourage and enter as many events as they can as the International Paralympic Committee, the IPC, is monitoring participation rates. Clark Chapin says, as a friend of mine once said, without women at regattas, there's too much farting and scratching going on at the parties. Clark sounds like he's from Michigan. That's a Michigan comment.
I think he is.
Seriously, you know that Paul Henderson always said, and Paul, if you're watching, I know you called a couple days ago, and I'm sorry, I saw that you called, but I haven't returned the call. Paul Henderson always said that getting the women involved at the Royal Canadian Yacht Club, especially the teenage women, really brought more and more boys
Of course.
to the club.
Yeah.
So you had the girls and the boys, and it was social. And I guarantee you, as Clark will know, that was the situation at our club growing up.
Right.
At our little Portage Yacht Club in Michigan. We'd have all-night sleep-ins We'd play ping pong and pool and
Yeah.
pinball all night. We'd go skinny dipping, and then we'd get some sleep. Do you believe that?
Yes.
We did.
Of course I do.
Okay, push hard for this. We want to get sailing back in the Paralympics, and the Australians are doing a great job pushing, especially those up in Brisbane. Cayardini, what a guy. What a say. Okay, we have some more Bravo Zulus, not just Cayard singing his praises, but also there's some other amazing performances here in the past week. Let's start, Julia, with your school. They have just won, that is Stanford, an incredible fourth in a row double-handed collegiate championship in St. Petersburg, Florida, for the fourth consecutive season. Stanford University stood atop the podium at the Women's Fleet Racing National Championship, extending one of the most impressive championship runs in recent college sailing history.
Yay.
Let's do that again. With this win, the Cardinal, it's no longer the Stanford Indians, is it?
No.
Why? What's wrong with Stanford Indian?
Became
Politically incorrect?
politically incorrect.
So now it's the Cardinal named after the color or the bird?
The color.
We covered that not too long ago. With this win, the Cardinal became just the second program ever to win 4 consecutive fleet race national titles, a feat previously accomplished only by the Princeton team way back in the early to mid 70s. There's the rest of the results, Julia. Congratulations to your school, to Yale, Harvard in the top 3. And it's interesting to see all the Ivies doing well in the women's, or mostly Ivies. You got Cornell there. Bowdoin's not an Ivy, but a hell of a good school. So bravo Zulu, Julia.
Yes, it's exciting.
Jody Shields is asking, does double-handed mean one person with 2 arms?
Oh, come on.
Well, I don't know what you call it if you don't call it double-handed. What do you call it, Jody? Give us the other. What do you call it in Australia?
2-man.
Two man. I guess. But you can't call it 2-man, Julia. It's not politically correct.
I know.
So we've been talking about this event, the World Championships for the 49er, for the FX, and the NACR 17. They have wrapped up, and bravo Zulu to one team in particular. I'm not going to go into all the other results. You can read about it in sailworld.com. Gladwell and others have been writing, and World Sailing and so on. But this was another cool event, very, very fine event. And here is, for the 49er, which was the men's skiff in the Olympics, but going into their final racing, it was close. It was super close. There were 4, 5, 6 teams, all of which were in the hunt. So I'm playing the video from the night before the last day of racing. Then we'll tell you who won on the last day. But getting to know some of these people, including our FOSI Harry Price, is, well, priceless.
So today was the final day of Global Fleet Racing. We ended up overall with a really good day.
Yeah, it was a tricky day out there. I'm not exactly sure what our results were, but it wasn't too bad.
We tried to just be calm on the boat, be relaxed, take it easy, because there was a lot of stuff happening.
Managed to finish strong with an 8th just behind Seb George, who are leading. So we managed to keep the points pretty close after today. So yeah, really happy with that and looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a fun day.
And we are looking forward to tomorrow.
I think points are super tight. So basically, I think everyone can still win a medal. So we take it race by race.
I believe any one of the top 6 or 7 can win. There's basically nothing in it, and it's going to be 2 races, and the best sailors are going to come out on top, and we're really looking forward to it.
It's all going to be really close, and especially with the conditions we have today, if it's anything like that, it's going to be all over the place and super tricky, and anyone could come through.
Trying to keep the processes right, focus on our communication and focus on ourselves, and yeah, we go all in, and then we hope for the best tomorrow.
We'll just sail our own race and see what we can do, and if we manage to win a medal, that will be awesome, and if not, we'll be proud of our results nonetheless.
Interesting to hear these kids, and they're young adults, but
yes,
they're bright as hell, articulate, multilingual.
Yep.
At least in the case of the Germans. Well, the Aussies are multilingual too. They speak Strine and English. There,
Yes, there we go.
There you go, Alistair. But did you notice what the German kid said? Now, you were married to a German sea captain
Right.
all those years. I lived in Germany. Leslie, Meg, and I lived in Germany for, 10 years. My sister still lives in Germany after something like 40 years. So we got a lot of German connections. But it was interesting what he said, the German sailor. He said, we're going to improve or watch or do well with our processes. Only a German sailor, I think, would talk about their processes. But that's the German mechanical engineering mind. And super.
Of course.
He also used the word super, which is, I know, the favorite word of a lot of you here.
Yeah.
Super duper. But we got to focus on one guy in particular because this is the youngest ever 49er world champion, Seb Menzies from New Zealand. Magnus wrote about him. Richard Gladwell's written about him, and I pulled a couple paragraphs out of Magnus's Rule 69 blog from a couple days ago. Seb has, as I said, has become the youngest ever 49er world champion. It's just fabulous stuff. At the precise moment, Magnus says, when you sign a contract at ETNZ, sat before the daunting figures of Grant Dalton, Kevin Shoebridge, and the team lawyer, Russell Green, my old friend, the pressure is on you. It's a performance pressure. You are expected to sweat it hard, and that's from top to bottom, from the chef to the CEO. You have to give it everything and represent that team with what is the best version of you. And I think this is right. I think Magnus is spot on. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes, and there's a delivery expectation with an unwritten rule that if you don't do the very best you can, you're out the door. ETNZ don't do mediocre. 100% commitment to the commitment, which is Dennis Conner's favorite expression. It's utterly compelling and demanding beyond belief, and it's quite surprising at the ones that survive and thrive in that atmosphere and the ones that don't. Good stuff. And I think that's one of the key reasons for Team New Zealand's success, for Kiwis in general being a great sailing nation. I think the Aussies too are the same way, and certainly in the Cup campaigns I have done, the 11 campaigns where I was close in with a team or running the event on behalf of those teams, the defense. You look at Dennis Conner, you look at Paul Cayard, you watch some of these other people. Those are people on whose teams I've been. Russell Coots. Yeah. They are leaders of men and women. They do not. They lead. They work as hard or harder than anybody. They give you the resources to do the job. They come and say, "Do you need anything else? How are you doing?
How can I help?"
How can I help? But they then say one more thing. And I've seen Coots do this, where he'd come into my office and say, "Tom, this is really," whatever we were working on, "this is really important. The whole campaign is going to turn on this issue.
Yes.
And whether you're successful or not. Are you on top of this? And he's watching your body language.
Right.
He's watching how you react. And that's a leader of men and women. You get all inspired. Oh, God, the whole campaign turns on how I handle this situation.
Right.
And I've seen him then go out into the yard after he's, given me that.
Yeah.
And then to go out and do the same thing to, say, Mark Turner to Tugboat, who was our operations manager, short team manager.
Yeah.
Say, "Mark, Tugboat, the whole campaign relies on you."
Yeah. Well, it works. And it's probably true besides.
Well, it is true. And Seb is yet another top-line Moss sailor. Jody is saying, yes, indeed. And I think that's a very good point. Let's talk some more about Seb, because I read all of Magnus's column, his Rule 69 blog post about him. And Magnus says, "I can remember interviewing Seb at the Youth America's Cup in Barcelona, and he was just politeness personified, if a little overawed by where his talent had got him. He was marked out for greatness from an early age, winning the Youth Worlds and the Worlds in the 420 class, and then transitioning to the 29er and scooping the European title. Then switched to the 49er was an obvious one, that switch, and titles have followed. Last year, the pair won the Europeans and now the Worlds, perhaps not as dominant as the Pete and Blair era, but those were different times. The 49er fleet today is a hotbed of young talent, and to win, no matter how close, is really something.
That's terrific.
Now Seb heads directly to Colliery to join up with none other than Nathan Outeridge, another great 49er sailor, medalist, in the ETNZ principal team, not the youth team, obviously, where the pair have a huge target on their backs as Luna Rossa desperately want to score the win this weekend on home waters in the most dominant of fashions, ideally. The pressure is on. It's going to be white hot in Sardinia, but the bosses at ETNZ know full well that in Seb, they have a sailor who can handle the big time. Seb Menzies is the real deal. Magnus asserts he could be the key to ETNZ securing that 4 in a row win, America's Cup wins in Naples in 2027, assuming that regata happens. He is that good.
Wow.
Now, that was an editorial comment from me, Julia. That wasn't something Magnus, the Magnificent wrote. I don't want, so if Grant Dalton's listening here, he said, did Magnus really write that? I better go look and see what he wrote. So that's MTM writing on his Rule 69 blog a couple days ago. Julia.
What's Seb a nickname for?
Sebastian? I don't know. It could be his name.
Yeah. I was trying to.
Sebastian?
Yeah.
Somebody will know in the chat.
Seb is the first time I've really seen that used that way.
Is Seb holding a rope in his hands? I thought they got rid of that tab. Let's get talking about on the AC 75s. Jody Shields says that all the top moth sailors say that after sailing moths, all other classes seem to happen in slow motion, and that the decision-making process, there's another use of the word process, seems to be a lot easier as it seems they have more time. Yeah, interesting. That's true, I think. That's true of any class when you move from a slower class to a more wicked up, faster class. Okay, well, bravo Zulu to him, bravo Zulu to the other winners. We don't have time to go into all that. But I did think we should mention this gentleman. I don't know him, but everyone who does says he is a fabulous person. This is a guy called Martin Evans, who is stepping down, speaking of moths, or this is the one design moth called the Wasp. He's been the class manager for 5 years and apparently done a hell of a job. 5 incredible years with the Wasp class. Martin Evans will be stepping down from his role as class manager at the end of May. Since joining the class, Martin has played a hugely important role in the growth and evolution of the class. It's gone from strength to strength. He helped guide the expansion of the global events program and has been instrumental in supporting and growing the WASP foiling pathway, helping create incredible opportunities and experiences for the next generation of sailors around the world. So, Julia, I, as you know, like to celebrate great sailors on this show and great contributors to our beloved sport. And he is apparently both. And they're asking and they sent this to me, I'm sure lots of other media. They said, until a new class manager is appointed, please direct all event or class questions to the email address class@wasp.com. And then they said, if you think you have the enthusiasm, passion, and skills to fill the big gap, fill those big shoes left by Martin, drop us a note at office@wasp.com and tell us about why you would be a great class manager. So
that's a good thing.
Fair enough. And bravo Zulu to him as well. Dogzilla Monster asking, what does this OD, One Design AC40 Colliery event mean? Points or anything else? I really don't know, Dogzilla Monster. I think it is. That's Stingray up in Seattle. I think what it means is that you get some tie-breaking program. You get something by way of tie-breaking in the Louis Vuitton Cup, depending upon where you finish in the combined scores of these regattas. It's bragging rights. It really doesn't mean much. One thing that Commodore Harrington mentioned to me the other day, she'd gone through, the meticulous race officer and person that she is, was reading the notice of race and the sailing instructions. Do you know what, I'll come back to that. Remind me to come back. And she noticed that they're using in Colliery high point scoring like Sale GP does.
Mm-hmm.
What croutonicism? What? I mean, why do you do that? It just confuses the hell out of the general public. I say it again. People know how to use golf low point scoring. People know how they can immediately understand why our beloved sport uses low point scoring. And why we keep doing this is frankly beyond me.
Basketball doesn't keep low point scoring.
Yeah, but that's a different sport. You're accumulating points.
Yes.
And points, football and soccer, you know, I get that. Hockey, baseball.
Yeah.
But why in a sport where you're adding points and it's based on the number of teams and the number of teams changes and it gets confusing, blah, 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 why don't we just use 1 point for first like golf? 1 point for one stroke. It's simpler. The guy that this past weekend, this amazing guy, this Brit, first time in 100 years that a Brit won the PGA tournament.
Right.
Low point scoring. It's very interesting. He won by 5 strokes, I think. You know, and if you get a 50 points or 30 points or 10 points for every hole that you win, I mean, give me a break. Yeah, that's a good point, Ed Worley. TNZ and the ACP, America's Cup Partnership, are desperate to compete against the Sale GP. Perhaps that's the case. Now, Julia, do you know what Commodore Harrington did this weekend? She's got all this going on.
Yeah.
She's flying here in her little plane, and she's driving there in her car, and she's back.
She's always on the road.
Between
Yeah.
44th Street and where she lives in Greenwich, and then out to Newport, then back home. And then she flew out to Newport this morning in her little plane because she wants to go to a founder's dinner or a contributor's dinner for the Sailing Museum tonight. And of course, she's contributed, and a lot of the big names will be there. So what did she do on her weekend off this past weekend? She drove to Newport. Let's talk about contributors to our sport.
Right.
She wanted to be the race officer for this club championship.
Ah.
So she drove to Newport, got her race committee organized. The staff does some of this and the other members of the race committee. Of course, she was the first female race committee chair at New York. Ran, I don't know how many races on Saturday, how many races on Sunday. Everything was a great event, perfect racing, perfect race management. Gets in her car and drives back to Greenwich. I don't know how she does it. I hope her heart holds up. Claire, if you're watching.
But she made me energized by that. I mean, there'll come a time mid-season when she said, I think I'm take this weekend off. But
well, I think that's a fair point. I think it does energize her and all the rest of us that do that kind of amazing work.
Right.
You look at some of the people that run races over at St. Francis weekend in and out, and what San Diego Yacht Club does, what any club does, what Jon Emmett and the gang do at Castle Cove Sailing Club.
Right.
It's just, and thank God for volunteers, thank God for people like Claire, because our sport depends so much on them.
Right.
Julia, what happened on this day in history? 1962, and I guarantee you there is a sailing connection.
That's what they all say.
And there's Commodore Harrington in the chat just before we leave that saying more like enervated.
Oh, don't admit it, Claire.
Enervated. Yeah. Not stimulated, enervated.
Yeah.
That's good. Julia, 1962. You want a clue?
Yes. Okay. It's a year before he was assassinated.
John F. Kennedy, who was born in 17, lived to 63. So he was the 35th president of the United States. And what happened on this day in history in 62? Claire says he was exhaustipated. No, Claire means she was exhaustipated after the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
So what did Kennedy do, or what was he involved in on this day in 1962, Julie? Do you need another clue?
Oh, yes.
No,
Mr. President, happy birthday.
Don't get me wrong. He wasn't doing anything with her, right?
She was singing to him.
So what happened on this day?
She sang at his birthday party. Happy birthday.
Where was the party?
President.
Madison Square Garden. Her real name, by the way, was Norma Jean Mortensen.
Yeah.
Born in 26, and she died just a few months. I mean, she committed suicide, apparently, 3 months later. The actress better known as Marilyn Monroe. And Julia, you are absolutely right, as is Hamish Ross, and we have the evidence to prove it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Now, Julia.
Yes.
Were they an item?
Yes.
They were. Everybody. Were you in Washington then? That's a little before you were in Washington.
Yeah.
But everybody in Washington knew they were an item, right? So when this happened, and apparently Jackie was not there. She was back at the ranch watching this on TV or watching it subsequently and was not amused. And then here is the very rarely seen response from the president.
But we're grateful to them, to Bobby Darin, and to Miss Carroll, who was going to come, and to Miss Monroe, who left a picture to come all the way east. And I can now retire from politics after having had Happy Birthday sung to me in such a sweet
His words get buried there, but he said in such a sweet and wholesome way. And, you know, everybody must, in the crowd who, you know, the insiders all must have known, oh my God, what is going on here? Mm-hmm. We were at a birthday party, I don't know, 10 years ago for one of our past Commodores over at St. Francis Yacht Club.
Oh, it was Rick.
Rick Pfaff, Commodore Pfaff, who often watches this show with Laura, his wife. Laura, two of the coolest people that I've known at St. Francis.
Absolutely.
He was a great Commodore, too.
Yes.
And the birthday party was arranged. He was his 70th or something. I can't remember. And Laura Pfaff, his wife, organized Marilyn Monroe impersonator to come sit on his lap and sing Happy Birthday, Mr. Commodore. And it was hilarious.
Yes.
That happened. Yeah, it was classic Joe Holtzman. I talked to Joe at length this morning, where it's snowing like crazy in Colorado on May 19th.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, that's what happened on this day in history. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Marilyn Monroe sings it to JFK before 15,000 attendees at Madison Square Garden in New York. And J. Edgar Hoover, the then head of the FBI, apparently had evidence that he was, should we put it more politely than bonking?
Yeah.
That's what's probably the operative word. Ted Ryman, but they were an item by all accounts. This day in history, 19th of May, 1962. And why is this sailing related, Julia?
Yes, because he was a great sailor.
Did he ever take Marilyn Monroe sailing?
Probably.
Not that we know of. He kept her apart, separate from the family.
Of course.
And of course, it was a big sailing family. So apparently she did not go sailing, according to what I read last night when I was putting that together.
I'm so glad to know that.
FOSI Focus, Julia.
Okay.
We got some FOSI focusing to do here. Friends of Sailing Illustrated. And the Magical Mystery Tour continues. That was Friday evening, I believe, when John Sangmeister had dinner with James Pleasance, with his John's son William, and their friend Tom Cheney, who's done a lot of sailing with them. And apparently it was just a marvelous evening. They had a lot of fun. And they've met each other before, because James has spent a lot of time in Long Beach with the World Match Racing Tour events, and John's helped with those as well and housed a lot of people.
Right.
So he told you on Friday that John was going to have breakfast with Pindar, with Andrew Pindar the next morning. Well, sure enough, they did.
Nate.
And I thought it was in London, but they'd gone up to York. And John said it was another magnificent occasion. I'm not sure he and Andrew had ever met before. But there's, speaking of Pindar, he's in the chat. Oops, nearly missed you guys. I thought you were having hiatus. Now we're going to do the hiatus. This is the last show before the hiatus, Andrew. So that is on Saturday morning. The Sangos had breakfast in York with Caroline. She is second from the left in the front row, Andrew's wife, a.k.a. Lord Scarborough, I call him, because he's always promoting Scarborough on this show.
Right.
Always talking about how it's got a nicer climate than San Diego or the south of Portugal, or give me a break, Andrew. It's a nice place, but or so one hears.
Yes.
Well, the Magical Mystery Tour has continued. They went up to Liverpool and shot this picture of Penny Lane.
Yeah.
Penny Lane. I should have brought the guitar or something in here.
Yeah.
We could have played a few of these Beatles songs.
Yeah.
So the Magical Mystery Tour continues. Guess where he was today, Julia? He and his two sons.
I don't know.
You want a clue?
Yes.
There's your clue. They
with-
were in Weymouth.
With Jon Emmett.
With Emmett. So they had apparently a good time today, and John's giving a talk tonight at the Castle Cove Sailing Club, and the guys had to blast off and go back up to London, or they were thinking about staying for the talk. They were also over at the Isle of Wight. And by the way, Sangmeister says, he's a Southern California boy. He says it's been 32, 33 degrees Fahrenheit, right above 0 Celsius. He says everything is freezing. It's just, he thinks the wave tops are blowing off and freezing. So they had a good time. And then, of course, Emmett had to send a video just before we went to air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ticking away.
Oh, sorry.
You can edit that bit out.
Looking really professional. There's no time to edit because I meant to open the bar minus 2 minutes ago. We're here in Castle Cove. Hi, Tom, Julia, all the FOSI. Some surprise guests to Castle Cove.
Greetings, Tom. Hi, Julia. Hi, FOSI.
It's quite a long way to come for Jon Emmett Training to Win talk, so I'm really feeling the pressure. There'll probably be some quite difficult questions. But special message for Tom.
Tom, we wanted to wish you all the best on Thursday. Everything's going to go swimmingly. We want you to have a full and speedy recovery. We send love from Weymouth.
And on that note, I need to go and open the bar.
Tropical Weymouth, I might add.
Don't say that, or Lily will never come back. So fast, so safe, have fun, and if we miss the show, it's because I talk too much.
He gave that talk tonight at Castle Cove. I have no idea what Sangmeister was talking about. I think he's confused because I had that dental procedure last Thursday.
Right.
And I think he thought it was this coming Thursday. So that's all I can figure out what that was all about. Who knows, Julia? Who knows what lurks in the minds of certain people? America's Cup, we'll do quick AC38 Cup date. And as I said at the top of the show, Prada has launched their AC75. Looks like more or less the same livery as we would see in horse racing or in Formula One. The same colors, the same branding. Some interesting things. Look at the contraptions here at the bottom of the foils with the wings. That's pretty amazing looking stuff. Now, whether that's just trial and error stuff and not really a final possible configuration, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm glad to see them coming forward full bore.
Well, one can only hope. So they launched today, and apparently it was quite a deal. They didn't sail, unlike TNZ. They went out and they towed. Fritz Mueller thinks it's a ruse. And they did tow, and they're load checking the boat, and they're checking the instrumentation, and this is what it looks like when they're towing at speed. You can see the tow line up there in the front, of course, and the beautiful backdrop in Calgary, which I have been, and that is a nice town. It's a nice fishing. I think everybody down there, Magnus is already there. I think everybody there, Julie, will have a good time and a nice regatta. The people are nice. The food is great. And Andrew Pindar says those are electric-powered props.
I'm sure that's true. Yeah.
I don't know about that. So here they are up on the foils. And I want to thank Richard Gladwell for sending through some photos quickly as soon as they were out. And then they've since shown up, some of them, on the AC38 website, the Louis Vuitton America's Cup website. Dogzilla Monster thinks those are measuring instrumentation on the foils, not necessarily. I'll go back and we'll have a look at that. Not necessarily part of the foiling contraption. Now, of course, Dogzilla Monster, a.k.a. Stingray, is very smart, Julie, as you know.
Yes.
He is a coder, retired engineer coder from Boeing up in Seattle.
Yeah,
so
he'll know, have a good idea.
he knows a bit about this sort of stuff. But that's the testing photos, and there were quite a few more, but you get the idea, I think, without us. No, Pirelli, Bing Bong, there's William. Sangmeister, no, Pirelli is no longer a sponsor, or so one hears. And that is the last of a photo. You can see others in different places. But I now have a 4.5-minute video that the team just put out. We haven't paid much attention to them because, frankly, they've been so quiet. So do have a look at this video from Luna Rossa as they host the big regatta, preliminary regatta, at their home port this weekend.
In the last two America's Cup, in the last two editions, we had Jimmy and Keiko on the helm. This time, there is a generation change.
This next generation has the skill and has the talent, and yeah, I think it's probably time that the gloves are hung up.
I've been sailing the two past cycles with Keiko Bruni and Jimmy Spittin. I think changing from a more experienced setup to a new setup, it's challenging, but on the other hand, it's bringing some really fresh and new idea.
Pete Berling is bringing his CV with him, no? He's a guy which is used to win. A couple of days after the announcement of Team New Zealand and Pete were gonna split for the Naples Cup, I started to talk to him and I said, well, you would like to consider to join us? And he said, well, why not?
I've actually really enjoyed the move. You know, I've always had a great relationship with Max and a lot of the other team here that were obviously a big part of Team New Zealand through the Bermuda campaign, through my first America's Cup campaign. You know, to be able to come into a new group with a different energy, with different ideas, and you know, really bring kind of a lot of experience over the past 3 America's Cup cycles has been, you know, something that's been really cool.
I was curious to see his face the day he was wearing for the first time this T-shirt. And when we walk in, I mean, people were just enthusiastic of seeing his face and seeing him with a great T-shirt. But I think it's been a big boost for many people, especially for the young guys.
He's the sailor of the last 10 years. He won Olympic medals. He won 3 America's Cup in a row. And it's been great for the team.
First week of Peter Berling here in Luna Rossa, he was able to enter so many meetings with such a clever and clear idea that I was surprised that a single person can have that much knowledge just in one mind.
Not happening every time that you have the chance to get one of the best helmsmen in the world and the one that won the last 3 America's Cup happy to join your team. Obviously, he's a talent in the water. He's a smart person on the office, so for sure he will bring a lot to our campaign.
He came here with a lot of energy, with a lot of new ideas. He's a great talent, and having him on board would be very good for Luna Rossa.
Ruggero Tita is one of the most talented sailors we had in Italy in the last 30, 40 years. What is really impressive about him is the attitude and the motivation he has in everything he does.
He's a talent in the water, he's a talent on shore, and for sure what he's bringing to us is dedication and devotion to our goal.
It's a big responsibility, but of course they teach us a lot of stuff. Keiko is coaching us now. We are prepared and we learn from them.
Yeah, with Ruggi, I actually sailed against him in the 49er a bit, so I got to know him reasonably well during that time.
We met at the Olympics in 2016 in Rio. The games that he won, I was there, it was my first Olympics in the 49er. And then later on I moved to the NACRA and he kept going with the 49er.
And then obviously transitioned into the NACRA and just had an absolutely amazing run, you know, winning 2 Olympic gold medals for Italy. So, you know, it's pretty special to see the level he's managed to achieve.
We were fierce competitors in the NACRA class, both in Tokyo and in Paris. Since then, we developed a great respect each other. And it was a pleasure to stay with him in Jeddah, and I'm looking forward to stay with him again.
Yeah, it's great to have the preliminary regatta here in Cagliari. Finally, the cup is going to come in Italy, in Sardinia, here where the Luna Rossa base is, and we are incredibly proud. And also, we are super happy to show to all the Italian fans the sailing and how Luna Rossa can do here.
Well, Julia, I don't know if sailing these 40-foot boats, 8 teams, I don't know how exciting or how relevant it is, but the upwind starts could be wild. Yeah, it's a typical windward leeward. I'll show you the course in the last leg at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Ryman asserts that they like Pete a lot. Sure sounds like it from the video.
And it sounds like he liked them a lot, too.
Indeed. 8 fleet races and then a match race final is what Dogzilla Monster is reminding us. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, that is Dogzilla Monster, a.k.a. Stingray, saying the torpedoes are smaller. The torpedoes at the bottom of the foils are smaller than last time, too, due to the lighter weights. Remember, the boat has been reduced in weight so that it will get up out of the water in lighter air.
Mm-hmm.
And Naples could be breezier, actually, than Barcelona. We'll see. Dogzilla Monster, fine. He's nice to see you chipping in here.
Yes.
Stingray. I'm hoping Diego, Flo, and Crouton perform well. So I didn't write this down, Julia, but let's see if we can add up the 8 teams. 2 from ETNZ, 2 from Luna Rossa, 2 from Alinghi, I think.
I don't know.
1 from the Brits and 1 from the French. I think that's it.
That's 8.
I think that's the 8 teams. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, please, in the chat, because I didn't research that. There's Valentine Barless saying happy Tuesday and saying hi to you, Julia.
Hi, Valentina.
Nice. Okay, so that does, in fact, get us to the last leg. We're about 22 minutes after into our second hour of this show, which normally runs somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So let's look at the last leg and our new theme song that, of course, we've introduced some shows before. Why do you throw your hands up in the air?
Oh, because she's so wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's, of course, Scott Joplin's Rag, and played by Claire Harrington. 2 from the Brits, not Alinghi, Dogzilla Monster says. 2 and Kilo 5 saying the same. 2. So the other 2 boat team are the Brits, and then only 1 from Alinghi. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you in the chat. So what are we talking about? Well, this 38th America's Cup preliminary regatta in Sardinia runs this weekend. The location is, of course, Cagliari, which is down the southern end, southeastern end of Sardinia. Beautiful town. The dates are the 21st through the 24th. Everybody's pretty much already there. And racing starts each day at 1500 Central CET, Central European Summertime, that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
Entry fee is, well, no. Every time I see that, I think it says entry fee. Entry is a free race village. This is for the public information.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the boats are the AC-41 designs with 4 crew, which, and the boats are going to be, you might as well sit at the bar with a radio-controlled thing, because they're basically being flown by wire and by computer, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get this pondered America's Cup, as some of you know. But here is another video put out by Luna Rossa describing the racing at Cagliari this weekend.
Ciao, I'm Rocco Falcone, and I'll be explaining a little bit about the preliminary regatta here in Cagliari. We'll be racing just in front here in Cagliari. We're expecting a start at around 3 p.m. with a classical sea breeze. 2 minutes to go until the start. All the boats will be inside of the boundary, getting ready for the start. From there on, if a boat is over the start line, they'll have to lose 75 meters compared to the rest of the fleet. They'll lead up probably on starboard to to the boundary, where if they get outside of the boundary, they'll have to again lose 75 meters and receive a penalty. From there, they lead upwind to the top gate, where they'll be able to choose either split left or right. They lead downwind to another gate, where they'll be able again to choose to split left or right. Back upwind, fighting for positions, playing the shifts. They round the top gate for the final time, and they blast downwind to the finish line. We're expecting 8 boats on the start line, and it should be really good fun.
Nice. Short.
That was well done.
I thought very well done. Sail GP needs something just like that. That's a little more, they've got those reaching legs to start and finish, but that's okay. That is courtesy of Luna Rossa Prada. Well, I can't say Prada Pirelli anymore. It's Luna Rossa. That's their official name. Julie, that gets us to the D block here, and we do have a D block. You see this pillow we've been talking about?
Yes.
Well, the pillow, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which Magnus the Magnificent found in an antique store
in Newport.
And he gave it to, he bought it, he was very kind, $35, I think, the princely sum. He gave it to Claire, and Claire sent it to me, except it didn't get here.
Oh.
And she couldn't figure out why, because she tracked the package yesterday. It got to as far as Oakland, California, across the bay from us, and then it got sent back to sender. And it's in some repository. She's now got to go pick it up. They won't even return it to wherever she sent it from, whether it was Newport or otherwise.
Awful.
Why?
Why?
Well, she thinks, and I think she's right, she apparently packed it in a cardboard box that had shotgun shells in it.
Oh.
Shotgun shells. And I said, well, was that race committee shotgun blanks that were used, in Newport or someplace? No, she said, because, she's also a big shooter. She goes out on weekends and shoots ducks and birds and whatever else she shoots. And she put this thing in the box that apparently previously it had real shotgun shells, not blanks even. It got sent to Oakland, which, of course, a huge port of Oakland, the airport and everything else. They must have all sorts of sensors, and they detected gunshot residue or worse. And they said, uh-oh, this could be a bomb. Maybe they thought Claire was sending them. Maybe she was. Maybe it's not the pillow. And then she said, well, maybe Magnus Wheatley stuck something in the pillow before he gave it to Claire to get here and blow up Beach Street Yacht Club.
Oh, yeah.
Which, of course, he wouldn't do.
No.
I thought you all would enjoy that last little tidbit before we take our hiatus here, our sabbatical. Okay, thanks to Magnus and Commodore Claire. She's going to resend it, Julia. This is sad news to start with. West Marine has filed for bankruptcy.
That is sad.
And it's been around for a long time. Everybody who's a sailor or powerboater has some time in their life visited a West Marine store. They're all over the place. But they are underwater. They're in serious trouble. Apparently their leases are going up all over the place in the land and the buildings that they have. And the boating supplier retailer is examining, they're redoing their debts. And it looks like they're going to close a lot of stores and maybe become the Amazon of power and sailing equipment, because just do it all mail order, like Amazon. So that, courtesy of Cedric Lorch, the Commodore of the Arizona Yacht Club, newly installed. Thank you, Ced. This, as I mentioned earlier, is what it looks like today in Estes Park, Colorado.
Oh, I just freeze looking at it.
It's obviously global warming. It's cold in northern Europe, and it's cold in Colorado. Here on May 19th, they've got snow, and it's still snowing, Joe says, with more to come. And you know what he did?
Went skiing.
I called him this morning. He and his wife, no, but your favorite bird, the hummingbird.
Oh, yes.
Apparently, they've got a bunch of, I don't know what the technical term is. What's a
flight? A
flight or a flock or a something, a bunch of hummingbirds. And the poor birds don't have any flowers to eat off, so they got all their hummingbird feeders out, filled them full of the feed and honey and whatever else you put in honeybird feed.
Dude, I didn't know they tolerated snow.
Well, we will soon see. That's Joe sent that picture. Thank you. Stay warm, Joe.
And stay warm for the hummingbirds. Oh.
Well, you've got a bunch of hummingbird feeders up at your place in Colliery.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know.
Not
in Colliery, in Calistoga.
Right.
Close. Calistoga and Colliery are close.
Close.
Do you know we've got a flight or flock or bunch or group of hummingbirds out here in this tree in the front yard, out on the street?
I haven't seen. I did see them, but I didn't know they were nesting there.
Well, I don't know if they're nesting there, but they're there all the time.
Oh, that's good. Well, those are good blossoms for them.
Julia has two passions in her life: alcohol and horses. Julia, do you like horses?
Well, I used to.
I don't know. I don't know anything about cows or cow valves or cow hearts or anything.
Yeah.
But there, I thought was apropos. Everything that's going on, that courtesy of Dolly DeVola, Julia.
Thank you, Dolly.
Dedicated to you.
I did ride before I walked, so it's.
That's right, you did, didn't you? Your horse is down in that other town called all the C's. You're the three C's.
Oh.
Calistoga. What's the other one?
Corcoran.
Well, I've never heard of Corcoran.
Well,
Julia,
yes.
If you drink, don't get on your cow. Julia, I don't know who this is for. You're 96 and still don't need glasses, the granddaughter, I suppose, asks. No, dear, I drink straight from the bottle.
That's a good one.
The drinking show of the sailing problem. And that one is from Peter Taylor.
Oh, my.
Our newest super FOSI. And while we're on the topic of alcohol, I couldn't help because this is a clean one from Ryman. He rarely sends clean ones, as you know. Today's special, buy one beer for the price of two and receive a second beer absolutely free. Dumb, but cool. I thought that was funny.
Yes, lots of takers.
Thank you, Ted Ryman.
Yeah.
And I thought this one was funny, too. Also sent by Ted about your school at Stanford, Julia, so which is why I ran it. And you see what's on her Speedo there?
I did.
Not a dude. I assume that's a meme. I assume that was made up. That's a graphic. It's AI. It's something. But one never knows these days.
One never knows.
And we've got a big problem in collegiate sports over that issue, which we won't delve into now. But that also from Ted Ryman.
I think that's good.
I texted him this morning. I said, Ted, I am going to run it. He said, you are? Gave me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
This from Ed Worley. When the government says we're all in the same boat, it's not necessarily the case. Little political commentary there.
Yes.
From another contributor to this show, for whom we are deeply appreciative, Ed Worley.
Ed Worley, yes.
And then this one, oh my God, he's bought a new boat. That also from Peter Taylor. Thanks, Peter, for that one. We've got so many more. I just don't have time to run all of them. If they're funny, they're good, and keep them coming even over the next month.
Oh, yes.
We will keep a repository. How's that for a word? Of these cartoons.
Yes.
And then finally, we've got Blake Middleton's that we always close with. All the smartest people sail. And then my dad, who likes to say sailing isn't for everybody, but it is, Julia.
For anybody.
For anybody, which gets us well and truly to the finish line where you like to say.
This is great time to just like.
If you can get it out.
like, follow, and share.
I had to pour some of that booze out of the bottle. Maybe you should be drinking out of the bottle, Julia.
I know. I was trying to say, you push the button, but you can't push the button. And
like, follow, and share. Well, you can click your mouse and do that. And also comments are welcome even in replay.
Yes.
We leave those open. And Julia, then no coarse language, no name calling, no personal attacks, because Julia, it's a one strike and you're out.
Yep.
If she sees somebody violating that prime directive, she'll block you.
Right.
For life. Right, Julia?
Yes.
We also want to thank all of you who contribute via Patreon. It pays our streaming fees. It pays our equipment upgrades here, and we have upgraded the equipment a little bit each show. We try to do a little bit better job. And thank you very much for your support as we wrap this one up with a thank you to those who gave us audio, images, and video courtesy of this long list. So yeah, it's the end of our 10th year, pretty much, and we will start up again after our break. And we're going on sabbatical. Today will be the last show until we do a restart on the Tuesday the 23rd of June, as I said at the top of the show. God and the internet willing.
Right.
Facebook and YouTube. Julia, final thoughts?
It's actually nice to have a sabbatical.
Well, I think you were a bit disappointed when we decided to do these 3 shows here in the middle of May. You said, are we really going back to work?
There's so many other things to do.
Well,
yeah. Anyway, no, but I'll miss everybody. God help.
Well, everybody will continue and stay in touch. And it's nice to see the FOSI. It's nice to see people who've never met, Emmett and Sangmeister, and these people getting around the world and meeting each other. And what a great community we have.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And it's for whom we do this show. It's not for us. We have fun doing this. And we love each and every one of our regular viewers and supporters. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great next month. We'll be back on June 23rd. And we'll wrap this one up by saying sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now. Yes, and Jon Emmett will be doing coaching corners on the Sailing Illustrated Facebook page and his own Facebook page. So thanks, Jon, for keeping that going.